So having said this, Anil, now to handle any crisis, right? What I really feel is that your middle management, first line and second line managers, a very critical role, right? Despite of whatever strategy changes we make, or probably we slightly change our execution methods, right? Still, it has to be executed by our first line and second line managers. So during this crisis, how do you think that the managers are equipped to control such situations?
Okay. So I'll explain from my own experience, and I think that serves as the best example. The first thing that we did, and I ask everybody to do, is not to take any knee-jerk actions, because the moment you start taking knee-jerk actions, you are going to spend the remaining time just to undo the mistakes that happened. Yeah. So I have a set of managers. I understand each person's experience. I understand the job responsibilities, and I action my expectations around those competencies and how I'm able to utilize them. So if you look at it, when I start explaining it, you will find that these are not something new which we did. These are always into play ever since the time outsourcing happened, or ever since the time people started doing the activities. So when I juxtapose that situation to the current situation, how we managed it, what we did is we identified all the tasks that we are supposed to do, understood for each task what sort of client interface are required and what is not required. You will bifurcate between who are your external customers and who are your internal customers. Where are you requiring some sort of an active involvement with those people, and where you don't need them. You have to refer back to the contract to see if there are any BCP requirements, if there are any force majeure clause which have been structured, and then you have to structure your actions based on those. Once you identify the area within which you need to play, the next biggest item is to identify the most critical resources, most critical tasks, and the ones that require a high amount of interaction and interfaces between multiple areas. Now, once you have done that, it's like on your mark, get set. The go means put them onto the recovery path first.
Right.
So once they have been on the recovery path, you are not expected, because these are difficult times. You should not be micromanaging them. I need to trust my people.
Right.
What you need to do is remove the interference from across them by cutting out the unnecessary meetings, the noise that creeps into the system, and you should focus more on the crisis management team meetings. You understand from the strategy point, you pass on this information to them and allow them to run the execution. As and when you keep going, you just tweak those performance parameters. Wherever those small course corrections are required, you do them based on the results as they come out.
Right.
And when you are doing this entire structure, please understand one very, very important thing. You are not working in an office. You are intruding into a person's home. And once you are intruding into somebody's private life, into their home, you need to provide certain concessions to mitigate this as soon as possible. I can tell you a couple of examples. Some of the meetings I did were with my lady staff who had just come out of maternity. In a normal situation, they would have taken 4 months off, but these people were ready to go. And I had a couple of meetings when the kid was in their lap, and I encouraged them not to let them go. Let them be in your lap and let's have your meetings. It is a favor that they are doing to me. I'm not doing a favor for them. Exactly. So the moment I started expressing these thoughts in a public forum, the team just got closer. We were sitting 5 meters away in the office, but we were quite far off. We are tens and 50 kilometers away from each other, and we were yet very close. And that brought out the best in everybody when they realized that, there's an instance of give and take. There's a love which is happening, that concession which is happening. It's not a rat race anymore. And the people were performing. I can tell you, will keep talking through this podcast that there was a zero dip in the overall performance in my team because of the personal touch that came in, because of the distance that came physically. Yeah.
That was amazing, Anil. The example which I would not call it as an example. That's a real incident, isn't it? Right.
That's a real incident.
That's extremely important, right? To accommodate their life also along with the professional space is extremely important currently, because even when I go into the meetings and all, right, I can't close my room door because my kids keep on coming and knocking it down. So now, similarly, my bosses also always keeps on, says that's fine, leave it as it is. You just focus here, let them play out. Kind of that accommodation is really important at this point in time, and that will definitely helps to keep the performance at a certain
Indeed.